by the end of this call, you should have a couple new ways to try it out. So the big thing is we've incorporated AI into the program to help increase the accuracy and allow for easier formatting of your dictations. So we're going to look at how that works and how you could use a specific template of your choosing and fill it in with your voice. So you'll really speed up your workflow when you're talking to the computer. I'm also going to show you how to record and summarize phone calls in real time, which is really useful for callbacks to clients. And I'm going to show you how to generate some reports, be it dental or surgery, without having to say all the details. So leveraging Gen AI that's built right into Talkatoo. A lot of these features people don't know about, so that's why I'm here. This is the third AI webinar to date, and I'm going to do them on a monthly basis. We're excited because we're building new features at a regular cadence. So there'll be more of these sessions. And if you feel like you didn't get enough from the call today, you can always book me in individually. We can look at your workflow on a case-by-case basis. So here's the problem. We know time is a huge constraint in your practice. And if you're just dictating right now with Talkatoo, it can be difficult to recall everything that happened or that you did in a room, for example. So how nice would it be to record everything in real time and have a medical record built for you by the time you're back at your desk? How nice would it be? So that's kind of the world we're living in now with the auto soap feature. So one of our friends on the call, Dr. David, he's been using this feature already for a while now. And the major benefit of this is it captures the conversation that takes place in the room. It could be between you and a technician, between you and a client, and it's going to organize that voice data into a SOAP note for you so that you don't need to sit at the computer after and try to remember what you said or you did. We're gonna do it for you in real time. And if you can incorporate this into your daily practice with Talkatoo, you'll never forget anything. So we'll have a copy of every room you've seen, and you can use it in a variety of ways. If you just want to take the SOAP note and put it in your practice management software, awesome. That's step one. But we could also take that SOAP note and turn it into a discharge summary to send to one of your clients, or we could summarize it into an email. We could turn it into a different language even. So that's what I'm going to show you today. We're going to start with Auto SOAP, which is the ability to record your appointments, the whole appointment, and then allow Talkatoo to generate a SOAP note. It takes place on the mobile app, so you can put Talkatoo on your phone or on a tablet, being like a Samsung tablet or an iPad tablet. Anything that has an app store on it where you can download an app, that's where you can download the Talkatoo app on. All right, so this is the Talkatoo app, which you can put on a tablet or a phone. In the near future, we're working towards a desktop version of this so that you could record your auto soaps from any desktop. We're getting there, and we've got lots of exciting things planned to increase how easy it is to leverage this in the practice. So pull open the phone and treat this like a recorder, a tape recorder, where you can walk in, greet the client, go through your dialogue with the client. They might give you some answers like, well, you know, Molly isn't eating or drinking normally. There's this staining on her paws. And so you can literally go through your dialogue as per usual. You don't have to worry about the exact wording. The beautiful thing about this is that it's capturing conversation. So when you go to look at some vitals or do a physical exam, you want to be mindful to say out loud what you're seeing and doing, right? So if you're taking a temperature, you might say, okay, I'm just going to take the temperature of Molly here. Looks like her temp is 101. I'm going to put them on the scale. Looks like they weigh about 63 pounds. And so going through your exam, you're just making sure you're noting all the important details. And Talkatoo is going to disregard the irrelevant details, like maybe the small talk that you're having with the client or your technician or your colleague. So just take note of to say the important details. When it comes to abnormalities that you're noting down, you want to say out loud what's abnormal. So you might say, their coat and skin is oily, and their nails are pretty long. They need a trim. Their attitude is XYZ. And by saying that in dialogue or in summary, like I'm doing now, right? I'm alone talking into the app, summarizing a recent appointment. That will work as well. In saying all that, it will pull those pieces out and place them in the SOAP, which we'll soon take a look at. You can click the gray plus sign right here on your widget. And if you haven't clicked that yet, it expands Talkatoo open. You'll see this dictation assistant page. We're going to get more in depth on this in a moment. But when you toggle to the left-hand side where it says notes, this is how you can view all of your SOAP notes. And so this would be the second retrieval system for you. You could just open this up, and this window floats on top of your practice management software. So rather going from our website to your cloud-based practice management software, or going from our website to Cornerstone or Avamark or whatever you use, kind of flipping screens, which can be cumbersome, you can grab the note right from here. So just click on the note. You'll see those 4 same sections, and you'll pull your practice management system up. This will float on top, and you can just simply drag the pieces that you want right in there. You could also copy and drag the whole thing in where you want to place it. So plus sign, notes, and you'll see your list of SOAP notes appear right here. They'll have a status on them. So if they don't say awaiting review like this one does, it would be uploading still. So you'd see the loading animation. You'd be able to gauge, how much longer it will be. And then your goal is, of course, move this stuff in and click complete and archive. That's going to place the note in your archived folder. So this just helps you stay organized, whether you're looking at the notes in this expanded widget or you're looking at the notes in our website. And one of the benefits of doing it from the widget is it's faster to grab them. The benefit of doing them from the web portal here is you can actually edit the notes. So you can type in here, you can use your keyboard to erase stuff. And most magically, you can use Talkatoo in here as well. So if I start a dictation, I can dictate in here, and I can use my voice commands I might already have. If I have any insert commands, I could also just dictate a passage in here freely if I want to add color on, the history or in the plan section if it missed anything. Excellent. So that's the formatting and kind of configuration of the notes has been hugely requested. So the template you've seen for a long time, there hasn't been many changes you can make to it. Historically, what you could do is you could change the normal statements associated with the template. So if you don't mention a body system, you'll get within normal limits or a statement of your choosing. So historically, you could jump into the settings page up here, and you could plug in a statement that you're comfortable with, be it not examined, no significant findings. Maybe you want to put a whole paragraph in there for each body system that's unique. You can do that today. But you haven't in the past been able to go beyond that. So in our new version of the web portal, what you can do is you can click on the settings icon, and this will, the settings icon here will bring you to the updated configuration page. And this page allows for a lot more customization. And I'm going to walk you through everything you can do in here. So first things first, for each portion of the SOAP template, you can configure now if you would like a paragraph, bullet points, or a numbered list. And that applies to your assessment down here and your plan as well. And so in the past, when you make these dictations in the room, when the SOAP populates, you might get a paragraph, you might get a bullet list. It's kind of been, you couldn't really choose what you get. But now you jump into the settings page, pick which layout you want, and that will affect every future note that you go in and record. So bullet points is a favorite of mine. I think it's easier to read, so I love this feature. You can also hide certain sections. So let's say you don't need the physical exam portion populating when you go to grab your notes and you open them up. Perhaps you just want the history, the assessment, and the plan. Well, you're going to be able to hide any portions that you don't want in this page. So simply click the green button here to toggle it off. And when you go to generate your next SOAP note, that portion will be hidden and not generated. You can also bold the headings of the body systems here. So if you come into this page and click labels and click bold, in the future when you submit that note, it's going to populate where each header here is bolded. So when you go to paste that against Cornerstone or Avamark or some other PIM system that you use, it pops out and it looks easy to read. That's been heavily requested. Awesome. So what else can we do in here? We can reorder the template. I love this one. So this has also been a big ask. For a long time, people want to move the headers around and organize them in a way that makes sense for them, that they're used to. So now just drag from the 4 or 6 dots there, and you can place it where you'd like to. And finally, you can also change the names. So if you would prefer to have central nervous system, CNS, or central nervous system, or maybe you want to have you want to replace gastrointestinal system with GI tract or GI system. It's as simple as deleting or typing in here for that body system what you'd prefer it to say. And that's a really easy fix. So just type it in, and once you've written it out, you've set it up, and any changes that you make when you're editing your SOAP template on this settings page, it's very important that you come up to the top and that you click save. Make sure you hit save to get all these configurations set up. If you don't hit save, you might need to come back here, but it's fairly straightforward. So playing around with this, you'll figure out exactly what you want. And so just to review, you can reorder the headers, you can rename the headers, you can hide any portions of the template you're not interested in, and you can also choose numbered lists, bullet points, or paragraphs for your assessment and plan. So that is auto SOAP customization for now. So we have more coming, and we'd love to hear your ideas. So as you start to leverage this tool and you start to set up your templates, if something pops up and you'd love to do it a different way, we'd love to know what that is, because we're always interested and we're building around your feedback. And so I want to show you something else that is important to us. Now that we've reviewed the SOAP template customization, we know how to come find it here in the settings gear when you're logged into the portal. I just want to switch gears quickly and show you our Talkatoo Ideas portal. So our Talkatoo Ideas portal is a space where you can share your ideas with us and vote on other great ideas from other Talkatoo users. So if you visit this page, you'll see a number of amazing ideas from our users, and you can cast votes in here. You'll see auto records customization. It's been heavily asked for and voted on, so again, super excited to have that out today. You know how to grab your notes from the desktop widget. I want to show you the other aspect of this expanded view. It's called the Dictation Assistant, which allows you to instruct Talkatoo in a number of ways. This can also spell check your dictation. So if you've just been using Talkatoo this way, where you're dictating into a Word document or your practice management software, you can now expand it and you can dictate to it in here. So when you start dictation, if you don't give it commands or instructions, its default setting is to return your dictation back to you in this box and do it with some spell check. So if there's missing punctuation, if a number is not formatted correctly, or date, or a word is miscapitalized, you'll see it's just logging my dictation in here. And when I turn this off, it's going to write it back to me and put in any fixes it can find. So that's the AI kind of sifting through the dictation and trying to make improvements for me. So when I stop the dictation, it goes through this quick thinking process. And when it finishes, it will return it back to me in this window. And it's added punctuation. It's kind of rewritten it for me. And so if I fumbled while dictating, which I often do, I might say something or stutter, and that will render my dictation, I have to do it again. If you do that here in the dictation assistant window, it will return it back to you with some awesome improvements. So I can just highlight over, hover here, click the square to copy it. Now it's on my clipboard. Now I can paste that into my Word doc or my practice management software, my email. And so this will serve as a spell check function if you're having trouble with accuracy or if you're having trouble dictating in general. Try it in this window. It's going to rewrite it for you and make it sound smarter. That's just the beginning of the dictation assistant. So its baseline feature is to improve your dictations. But what else can it do? Well, it can do a lot. So you can give it instructions beyond just speaking in here. So if I click new at the top right, that just clears the board. And now I can give some examples of how to instruct it. So for example, I could start a dictation and say, please write me a radiology report of a 3-view abdominal radiograph revealing foreign material in the stomach, excessive gas, and mineralized renal pelvises. Radiologist's name is Jamie. The date today is June 26th. And patient name is Fluffy. Owner name is Jen Smith. So I gave it a set of instructions at the very beginning. And then I gave it some information. And when I turned it off, it's built me this report. And so it's come up with this radiology report for me that I can now copy and paste into my practice management software. It talks about the patient, the owner name. It goes through the type of radiograph, the findings, the assessment. Now, it just came up with this. I didn't really give it a template to work with, but you can actually create your own templates and have the assistant fill them in. So if your SOAP template that you can customize now isn't a good fit because you're doing a surgical note that has very specific fields and entries and headers in it, or you're doing some other type of appointment or trying to fill in a template that doesn't really fit the SOAP mold, you can build something that's completely customized. So I'll just walk you through that because it's one of my favorite ways to help people with Talkatoo, because you can get stuck navigating your practice management software, the different fields day by day, and going line by line. So this will unlock so much productivity for you. If you click Talk to Text, which opens up this window here, you can insert, paste, or write out a template. So here's one, for example. I've created all these custom fields, and I've chosen things that are important to me. I've even put normal statements in here. I put like a 3-part plan in here. So you can write this out to be exactly what you want, give it a title up here, and then save it. And I've got loads of these saved. Now I can open the assistant feature, and I can click new, and I could say insert new template, new paragraph, history. Patient has a history of vomiting and diarrhea. They've been admitted 3 times this year to Lakeshore Veterinary Clinic. Diet consists of mainly high protein raw food blend, RX, gabapentin, butorphanol, Serenia. Diagnostics, waiting on blood work results. Weight 60 pounds, eyes cloudy with leaky discharge, temp 101.2 Fahrenheit, mucous membranes pink and moist, CRT less than 2 seconds. Replace heart with severe murmurs and palpitations. Replace abdomen with soft and painful to touch. Replace lymph nodes with red and swollen. Assessment, rule out dietary versus environmental versus seasonal allergies. Plan 1, dispense Apoquel. 2, recheck in 2 weeks. 3, schedule a dental. So to the naked eye, that probably didn't look like much, right? Probably thinking, what the heck? But what it's going to do is take this blurb that I just sent to it and apply it to this template and replace the things I asked it to replace. And anything I didn't say replace on that was pre-written, whether it was a statement, like my signature at the bottom, or or a normal statement for my body systems, those are the same. So those are still there, unchanged. And so it will format your dictation into any layout that you've designed, which is super awesome. So if you've got a blank spot to go paste that into, rather than you clicking and navigating through every single field and stop dictation, do it all in one go, and then just copy and paste this in. So that's one of my favorite ways to use this, the dictation assistant. Some other fun things you can do with this window, you can summarize your calls, your phone calls. So if you're calling clients often to update them, call them back, and you're doing a 5 to 15-minute phone call, if you're using Talkatoo a lot, what you're probably doing is clicking start dictation and saying, spoke to owner declined x-rays, we're going to recheck in 2 weeks, and you're dictating word for word the phone call in a summary. Just like auto soap on your phone, we can leverage AI to do it for you in real time. So how do we do this? We open the assistant and we click here where it says summarize. Click summarize, and now we can start a dictation. And if you have a landline or you're making the call on your cell phone and it's in your hand, it's as simple as starting the dictation and letting it hear you. If you can achieve or do what we think of as active listening, where you're really making the client feel heard by acknowledging their answer. So if they give you a yes or a no, or they give you a time or a date or an amount, if you replay that in the dialogue that you have in the phone, Talkatoo will have everything it needs to automatically generate a summary. So I'll walk you through how I would do this. Hey, good morning, Dr. Thomas. It's Jamie from Talkatoo calling. I've got a radiograph here on my desk that I just want to talk you through. Do you have a couple minutes to chat? You do? Okay, perfect. This will just take 5 minutes. And first thing I'm seeing here is there is some foreign material in the stomach. And I'm wondering if you know about Fluffy's diet. Has he gotten into anything unordinary this week? The garbage. Okay, that would make sense. I do see something on here that I think we want to get removed. It's not too serious, but I think we need to schedule an operation. Is there a good time you could drop Fluffy off again this week to see us? It's not a good week. Okay, well, it is kind of time sensitive. So could you do it this weekend? You could. Saturday? Excellent. Okay, we'll bring Fluffy down here on Saturday. Is there a good time? 2:30. Excellent. Excellent. We'll take great care of Fluffy on Saturday if you can bring them by. And in the meantime, did you have any other questions about their appointment this week? The invoice. Okay. Yeah. The amount there. Yeah. Yep. I'll go recheck that with the front, and I'm going to send you an email just to make sure that amount is correct. Sound good? Great. Okay. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon. So I just pretended I was on the phone call, but that is pretty similar to how, I talk on the phone. I'm the type of person who I want to make them feel heard. If you can do that, actively listen, acknowledge the yes, no, the time, the date. Now Talkatoo has built me the summary of the phone call, and it's done. The phone call's done, but the summary is done, right? So Jamie from Talkatoo called Dr. Thomas, discussed the radiograph, discussed suggesting scheduling the surgery, to remove the object, propose a set date and time. And so if you can have these generated by the time you hang up the phone, you're going to save so much time on these low value tasks like typing or dictating the phone call summary. So just do it in real time like this, and then copy it and paste it in. If you can put your client on speakerphone, even better. You won't have to do the active listening as much. Just let it hear both sides. It'll build you the same summary, but both will work. And I know practices are busy and loud, so speakerphone isn't always the best option. If that's the case, just active listening. That's the way to go. Now, maybe you want to send an email to them, summarizing the phone call or summarizing the appointment their pet just had. Use the assistant. So open this window and just instruct it, right? You can always give it instructions. So maybe I'll turn it on and say, please write an email to client Jen Smith, summarizing our phone call above, and ask her if she can pick up the following medications for Fluffy. Number 1 is gabapentin. Number 2 is butorphanol. Include my signature at the bottom of the email. So I just asked it to reference the phone call summary, which is just an extension of maybe one of my daily tasks where I'm doing client communications. Maybe I got to do a phone call, now I got to do an email. Use this to do both. Right now it's generated this awesome email. If I don't like the tone of this, I can turn it on again and ask it to rewrite it in a different tone. But this looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to copy this and paste it into my inbox. And if you can't see this, it's just a really well-composed email that says, Dear Jen, I hope this finds you well. I wanted to summarize our phone call from earlier today. Then it summarizes the phone call. Then it does a numbered list of the meds I asked to pick up. And so you can really configure this and kind of go back and forth. It's like a thread that you start. So if you don't like something, just turn it on again. Please convert the email above into Spanish because Jennifer is a Spanish speaker. Here's another example of how you could leverage this. You could translate something into a different language or kind of reformat it into bullets or a numbered list. And it can translate up to like 95 different languages. So there it is. Pretty awesome. And so those are a few ideas for you to start messing around with the dictation assistant. And remember, when you click your plus sign, you're toggling between your auto soap notes or your dictation assistant. And you can paste stuff in this window. So if you wanted to take one of your soap notes that you just placed in your practice management software, and maybe you want to create a discharge summary, just copy the entire thing. So click copy all, click the assistant tab again, and now I'll just instruct it, please summarize the following appointment into a discharge summary. And then I just clicked Control V to paste it in. So now I've sent that entire soap note to the assistant. I've asked it, hey, make a discharge summary. So this might be an extension, something else I want to put in into the PIMS. Very cool. So there's a ton of applications for this. I'm always looking for inspiration on how we can use it. So once you start playing with this, use your imagination. Whenever you start the dictation, you can either do a regular dictation and let it spell check it, or you can get creative and you can start to prompt it. Generate this for me, make me this. Include details on this disease or this procedure in the email. It's really smart and it can pull information like that. Awesome. Okay, so now we've covered the auto soap feature and we've covered the dictation assistant feature. We know that we can customize our soap notes in the web portal by visiting the website and clicking on the gear icon at the top right. And hopefully this has inspired you a bit to try some of the new features. If you have the app already and you're not using it all too much, try checking your app store if there's an update available for Talkatoo. It might be that there's a new version, so just punch Talkatoo in, see if there's an update. If not, sign into that app and start messing around with it. We've got constant updates coming to this thing. We are not giving up on this ever. We're going to continue to improve it. This template customization is just the beginning. And your voice really does matter. So if you have great ideas, send them to us through our feedback portal. I'll make sure you have the link to that. And yeah, I'm really, really grateful that you guys jumped on with me today to learn about this. And just the other day, we tweaked Auto Soap to better understand when you talk in the room about vaccines and blood work, to make sure that information is prioritized in the plan section. Also to make sure that oral and dental scores that are talked about in the room, those are prioritized in the mouth and teeth section of the template, along with lumps and masses being prioritized in the coat and skin section. So we're going to just keep tweaking this and making it better for you. And I hope this helps you guys.
As a specialist, just the dictation is great, but the way to make different types of reports to send back to referring DVMs is a gigantic thing. It's really a big deal. So I feel real excited about I can see hours and hours and hours of time savings by customizing it because there's a sameness to the behavior and welfare appointments, and they're not actually captured in the general software, the usual software for veterinary medicine. So really, really great. Yeah.
Gives me pause to think what this would have done when I was practicing medicine. Let me tell you, you have no idea. You're way too young to know the difference that this would have made. Everything went from handwritten notes when we were really, really advanced when we were dictating, and we had someone in the room typing and doing all of that. So it's quite amazing, but tremendous compliments on what you're doing. It's great.
Thank you very much, Jamie, because there's a lot here and I need to get started on it. I've been using Talkatoo for emails primarily, and I've used it a little bit for inputting records, but because I do so many remote, I was struggling with connectivity and delay and that kind of thing. So being able to have it on my desktop and remote into that and go from there is going to be very helpful. And my assistant here has been listening to this whole conversation.
Taking notes.
And yeah, he's taking notes.
Beautiful. That's all I have, and I appreciate your guys' dedication to moving us forward in this, because that's really exciting.